3D printing of human organs. As of today, we have surgery whenever our organs do not work. We replace these organs with somebody else's. A lot of times this cannot work. Sometimes the surgery cannot work, and other times it's the donor. The donor's organ is not compatible with our own. And because of that reason, we die. Currently, we don't have enough donors. According to the Huffington Post, there are 119,000 people waiting for a transplant today. On average, 22 people die a day. There are clearly not enough donors out there. And instead of creating more donors, there is another way to solve this issue. It is through 3D printing. Before I begin to talk about that, I want to make sure that everyone understands what 3D printing is. 3D printing is the copying of one material, and then once that material is copied, you use that same material to put to someone else. For an example, we copy a bladder in our body, the human bladder. Once that bladder is copied, we can give it to somebody else who needs that bladder. Instead of doing it for somebody else, 3D printing is giving us a way to do it for ourselves, to use our own bladder when it is perfect condition. Currently, 3D printing is not really used for our human selves. 3D printing is being used for the construction of houses. Right now, a house can be made in 24 hours, and it's made of concrete. It's much stronger than any house that we have today. Bringing 3D printing into the human body, like I said earlier with the bladder, that's already been invented. They have a bladder, they have kidney, they have a bladder, they have a liver, they have a couple other organs. The ones that are still complicated are kidneys and a heart. They can't find a way to duplicate that. The great thing about 3D printing is the fact that we don't have to rely on somebody else to give us their organ. We can do it ourselves. We duplicate our organ when we are healthy. When we are sick, we can use that same organ that we've duplicated, print it, and replace our bad organ with our good one. The great thing about this is, number one, we don't need a donor. And number two, we have a 0% chance of rejection. Although we are decades away from being able to duplicate complex organs such as a kidney, we also have breakthroughs that, although they're not as complex as a kidney, we have found other organs in our system, such as a bladder, like I've mentioned, cartilage, skin, urinary tubes. All these things have been duplicated, replaced, and implanted into the human body. As well as having research done, there is another method. We're decades away, like I've mentioned before, from duplicating things such as a kidney. In the meantime, we're researching in other areas. One of the other areas is a project called Body on a Chip. Body on a Chip is basically the duplication of a miniature organ, such as a miniature heart. Not the hearts we're used to, but a miniature one. This miniature heart is put through drug tests. New drugs that aren't even on the market yet. The reason for putting our hearts through this, a miniature heart through this, would be to eliminate the usage of animals. We no longer have to use animals. Also, our results are going to be far more accurate. With more accuracy and more tests being done, 3D printing is clearly the way to go. My motto for this speech is don't donate, duplicate. Here's my works cited. Thank you.